morning, American. It's Friday.
It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA. Yes, it is time for Mornings at 8 on a Friday morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Harvey. I'm still amazed how he always knows it's Friday. I don't get it. Anyway, it is Friday, finally Friday, the end of the work week, and here we go. Let's see now. Boy, what a beautiful morning. Man, is it nice out there. I left the house around 7 o'clock or maybe 7:05, 47 degrees. That is nice and comfortable. Way better than it's been in recent days, or recent nights, I guess. Boy, is it beautiful sleeping weather. Ideal. And I got up here, and man, it was foggy. I mean, it was really foggy in the valley. It was nice up here on Mount Ashbaugh, but it was real foggy in the valley. Well, let me see here. Also, there's more traffic out there. That's right, school's getting closer. More things going on in the early morning, and school will soon be here. And there you go. Well, let me see here. You know, Brian had a couple of interesting stories. As a matter of fact, all the stories are pretty interesting. In one, Congressman Tom Reed called Governor Cuomo a bully. That's good. And then a spokesman for the governor called Tom Reed a patsy for President Trump. And so it goes back and forth. He's a bully. He's a patsy. There you go. Let's see here. I do have some pretty interesting stories this morning. However, I must tell you that it's nothing but a hodgepodge of totally unrelated items. We have this, we have that, we have that. Yeah, pretty much unrelated. In the first place, you know, I have criticized Governor Cuomo a number of times for things he has done or laws that he's espoused, but I've also mentioned a lot of times that a lot of laws are good, and this one is very good. I got this from where I find this, the Empire Report, New York. The governor has signed legislation allowing more crime victims to sue for damages. That, I think, is pretty good. One deals with survivors of domestic violence, domestic abuse. Another allows the victim of those who have violated an order of protection to sue the offender. That's good, too. And there's one more here. Anyway, they expand legal protections to crime victims who may not have been physically harmed. Not been physically harmed. How about that? Let's see here. The governor said, by expanding the eligibility for victim compensation, we are ensuring even more crime victims are reimbursed for expenses incurred while fighting their abusers and have the assistance needed to support their recovery, Cuomo said in a release. Under one of the new laws, victims of unlawful surveillance crimes, including revenge porn, can sue their abusers even if they did not suffer from a physical injury, a previous requirement to take perpetrators to court. Victims of unlawful surveillance should not have to be physically injured from an incident to receive financial assistance for the unwanted damages caused. It is not that simple, said State Senator Roxanne Persaud, a Democrat from Brooklyn, and a sponsor of the bill. This kind of crime's impact on a victim, especially their mental health, career, relationships, and sense of safety and security, is often far-reaching and often long-lasting. Yeah, technology advances, but apparently human beings are still the same old human beings. Unlawful surveillance. That kind of creepy crime is getting more and more popular. People place cameras, here, there, and the other place, you know. And bathrooms, camera, I don't know. It's kind of a creepy crime, but there we go. And the final law classifies any person under 18 years old who has witnessed the crime as a child victim, allowing them to also seek damages from perpetrators. And that law, along with the unlawful surveillance measure, will go into effect in February. Assemblyman Pat Burke, a Democrat from Buffalo, said no one should ever face financial hardship for the cost of treatment or pursuing justice for a child who has suffered unimaginable trauma. And the law allowing domestic violence survivors to sue those who have violated restraining orders will go into effect in October. And I thought those are pretty good laws. Those are pretty good, yeah. You should be able to sue. Although how you get your money, I really have no idea. That might be something else entirely different. But anyway, so here we go. And what else? Well, where did I find this? Where did I find? Oh, on Fox News. That's right. Yesterday I had a story about some schmo who was at the Yellowstone National Park, and he took a photo of the geyser called Old Faithful, and he was within like 20 feet of the geyser. And he took a photo, and he faces a couple of charges. You can't do that. You can't get that close. So, yeah, kind of dumb. I mean, really? The water, I think, I don't have the story in front of me, but the water that comes out of Old Faithful is 204 degrees. 204 degrees. And boiling point is 212. So it's practically boiling water. So why this guy would want to get that close, I don't know. Anyway, that's what he did. So speaking of Yellowstone, I have something of a follow-up, in a manner of speaking. And the headline for this one is Yellowstone supervolcano eruption would be catastrophic, a New York Times op-ed says. And this I found on Fox News. The eruption of a supervolcano underneath Yellowstone National Park would be like nothing humanity has ever seen, according to the article in the New York Times. There are 20 supervolcanoes on Earth. I don't know where they are. That's really the only one I could think of. But anyway, there are 20 supervolcanoes on Earth that represent that greatest natural threat to human life, writes End Times author Brian Walsh. The Yellowstone supervolcano is an 8 out of 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. And didn't know that there was such a thing, an explosivity index. But has only erupted 3 times in the last 2.1 million years. And the last eruption was 640,000 years ago. That's quite a long time ago. Volcanologists predict an explosion could spread toxic gas all the way to the Midwest, ruining crops and knocking out power, according to Walsh. He adds that a toxic cloud blocking the sun could cause much colder temperatures in the United States for years. Now, I'm thinking about that. Let's see here. There is an upside. At least that would cancel out global warming, right? Well, you got to look on the bright side. Anyway, so that's that. And the European Science Foundation said it would be the greatest catastrophe since the dawn of civilization. Walsh says that supervolcanoes represent an ultra-catastrophe that could lead to human extinction. Other examples are an asteroid and nuclear or biological warfare, or perhaps Bernie Sanders. No, it doesn't say. I'm only kidding. He suggests that although an eruption in our lifetime is unlikely, one could decimate the planet. He says there will probably never be a year in which no one dies in an aviation accident. Never be a year. But there will definitely never be a year in which 10% of the global population dies in a single plane crash. That's what he said. And he argues that the government should spend more on volcano hazard programs. Now, I'm not sure what a volcano hazard program would be. I don't know. Now, this is amazing. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, spends more than $7 billion each year on aviation safety, compared to $22 million on volcano programs. So the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, spends $22 million a year on volcano programs? Exactly what would be a volcano program, and why would the FAA spend any money on a volcano program? And what kind of program would it be? I'm just asking here. I have no idea. Because the FAA is flying their planes, and then you have a volcano. I don't know. Anyway, so Walsh closes by saying that we have the power to help prevent these catastrophic disasters, but because we remain confined to the brief human time horizons of our own experience, we treat them as unreal. In doing so, we leave ourselves vulnerable to what we can't imagine. Okay, so, all right, I'm still wondering about the FAA and volcano. What kind of program would it be? I don't know. Okay, anyway, so that's super volcanoes, and there you go. And what I have yesterday, yeah, I also had 2 stories yesterday about asteroids that are coming close, relatively close, you know. So we have asteroids and we have volcanoes. All right. Okay, let's see here. I said this was all totally unrelated. Nothing fits with anything else. Where did I find this? Found this on Fox News, too. I guess it was a Fox News morning or something. San Francisco board rebrands convicted felon as justice-involved person. So it also cleans up other language. And, you control language and you control thought, So anyway, let's see here. The San Francisco Board of Supervisors has introduced new sanitized language for criminals, getting rid of such words as offender and addict, while changing convicted felon to justice-involved person. The board there adopted the changes last month, even as the city reels from one of the highest crime rates in the country and staggering inequality, exemplified by pervasive homelessness alongside Silicon Valley wealth, which is, of course, south of San Francisco. The local officials say the new language will help change people's views about those who commit crimes. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, from now on, a convicted felon or an offender released from custody will be known as a formerly incarcerated person, or a justice-involved person, or just a, quote, returning resident. So instead of a convicted felon, you're a returning resident. Okay, a juvenile delinquent will now be called a young person with justice system involvement, or a young person impacted by the juvenile justice system. You're a juvenile delinquent, so you're impacted by the juvenile justice system. All right. And drug addicts or substance abusers, meanwhile, will become a person with a history of substance abuse. Who is this? The city supervisor, Matt Haney, said, we don't want people to be forever labeled for the worst things that they have done. We want them ultimately to become contributing citizens, and referring to them as felons is like a scarlet letter that they can never get away from. And that's in San Francisco. Now, this new language in San Francisco, though unlikely to do much to address the crime problem, it isn't going to do anything. It isn't going to do a stupid thing. Anyway, it doesn't do much to address the crime problem. It may result in some convoluted descriptions of crimes in the future. Seems pretty convoluted. It also seems wrong. The newspaper noted, this is the San Francisco paper, the newspaper noted an individual whose car has been broken into could well be known to police as a person who has come in contact with a returning resident who was involved with the justice system and who is currently under supervision with a history of substance use. Yeah, okay. And let me see, the board's approved new language is non-binding, with the district attorney endorsing the measure. Mayor London Breed hasn't yet endorsed this new language. So that's how things are going in San Francisco. All right, okay. Next, we have this. And where did I find this? Oh, wow. How do you like that? This, too, was from the Fox News. As I said, it was a Fox News morning, I guess. Anyway, an Iowa professor says, I am Antifa, and he once posted a desire to bash President Trump with a baseball bat. That's nice. A college professor in Iowa, which you really don't think of as a radical place, really, but a college professor in Iowa openly declared his support for the violent far-left Antifa movement after coming under fire for inflammatory social media posts that included the desire to bash President Trump with a baseball bat. Jeff Klinsman, an adjunct English professor of nearly 10 years at Kirkwood College in Cedar Rapids, made the remark after a local TV station questioned him over his social media activity. And he says, I affirm that I am Antifa, Klinsman told a local ABC station, which found the professor's numerous posts on his personal page and on a Iowa Antifa page. As I said, you really don't think of Iowas as being radical. That's weird. He stood behind his comments, although he added he's willing to apologize to any Christians offended by them. All right. The outlet reported that, Brian? Yes.
I raised my hand because meteorologist Rob Carolyn is on the line.
Well, okay, wait, hey, okay. First things first. Never mind Antifa. I don't care about that. The weather, that's what's important. And here he is, Rob Carolyn, live and in person on the phone.
Gee, and I thought he was raising his hand to use the bathroom. I didn't realize.
I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
Okay,
he was
fine.
asking your permission.
Yes, you may. Please. And here's the key. Remember that in
I
school.
got a key with the... I
Big
do.
wo- yeah,
Gotta
big
have the
wooden-
pass, too.
Yeah,
John
right.
was going to give me a hall pass.
That's right. Yeah, you had to take this big, huge wooden
Like
key.
you need one, Brian.
Oh yes. So
Oh, it's Friday, Jonathan. It's Friday.
where were we? Yes. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Weather-wise, how we doing?
Good. Great weekend coming up. A little on the cool side. It's going to kind of feel a little bit like fall, but other than that, we're doing pretty well. Big high-pressure system northeast of Lake Superior this morning, Jonathan. It's going to slowly work its way towards us. This morning in a few spots, we've got a little bit of low cloudiness and patchy fog, and we may start the next couple of mornings off with that due to the cool temperatures and the fact that we may cool down to the dew point. A little bit of fog, a little bit of low cloudiness may form, but that will quickly burn off each day, and we'll be left with a lot of sunshine. All in all, today looks to be partly sunny. We're going to be on the cool side. We get to 70 to 75 this afternoon. Sunrise earlier was at 6:27. The sun sets tonight at 7:59. Tonight, clear skies, cool overnight. If you're headed out, you may want to take a light jacket, a sweatshirt along with you, as temperatures tonight fall back to about 45 to 50. And again, towards morning, we could see some patchy ground fog. Sunshine, cool tomorrow, highs up to about 70 to 75. We're clear with patchy fog tomorrow night. Temperatures are down to about 45 to 50. Great looking day coming up on Sunday. Lots of sun, 70 to 75. In fact, Jonathan, the nice weather should continue right into Monday. More sun and 75 to 80.
Oh yeah, very nice. I got to do the lawn, and this will be ideal. Not nice and cool out there. Beautiful, beautiful.
That's right. No problems. Low humidity. Couldn't be better for outdoor activities this weekend.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thanks, Rob. See you next week.
You got it.
Okay, bye. Whoops, here we are. Before we go to the break, I want to tell you about this. It's very important. Insurance. What could be more important than insurance? Offhand, I can't think of anything, but you can do no better anywhere than the Ryan agencies. They have 3 offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellensville. They are local, as I just told you. They are independent. They do the insurance shopping for you. It's like having your very own personal insurance shopper, and all you got to do is call them up. Very good. They have access to many insurance companies to find the best rates for you. They offer sound, unbiased advice. As I said, they're independent, they're friendly, they're local, great bunch of people there, a whole bunch of really, really nice people work there, and they're all local. And you can check them out online, RyanAgency.com. They are the Ryan Agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In NFL preseason action, the Patriots beat the Panthers 10-3, but the big story out of this game is the status of Carolina starting quarterback Cam Newton. In his first game action since last December, he was sacked in the first quarter, suffered a left ankle injury, and didn't return. He was in a walking boot after the game, didn't speak to reporters. How this injury will impact his availability for the start of the regular season is unknown. In Major League Baseball games of note, the Cubs shut off the Giants 1-0. Chicago sweeps the series. They won 5 in a row, and they're still on top in the NL Central by a half game on St. Louis. Cardinals kept pace with a 6-5 win over the Rockies. Rays beat the Orioles 5-2, while the A's wrap up a sweep of the Yankees with a 5-3 win. Tampa Bay and Oakland are tied for the 2 wildcard spots in the American League. The Mets shut off the Indians 2-0 in an 8-inning rain-shortened game. New York gets the sweep. They've won 5 in a row. They remain a game and a half out of that final wildcard spot in the National League. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, they have fallen out of a playoff spot. They're a half game out of the wildcard right now in the American League, and they're 3.5 games back of Minnesota in the AL Central race.
From the Fox Business Network, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell speaks today at the annual Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas retreat in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Investors will be listening for updates on the economy and whether the Fed plans to continue lowering interest rates. Hasbro is buying the company behind the popular kids show Peppa Pig. Hasbro will pay $4 billion for Entertainment One, based in Toronto. Entertainment One also makes the children's programs PJ Masks and Ricky Zoom. It also makes programming for adults. Stocks closed mixed yesterday after a reading on manufacturing from research firm IHS Markit was the weakest since 2009. The Dow Jones Industrials added 49, but the Nasdaq was down 28. The S&P dropped a point. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
Do you want to learn to speak a new language but don't have enough time? Then you need to try Babbel, the language learning app that you can try for free right now at Babbel.com. Babbel's lessons are just 15 minutes or less, and you can go at your own pace. You'll be amazed at how easy Babbel makes it. Start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free Just download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com now. That's BABBEL.com.
Today at Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads and Hornell, New York, you'll find brand new 2019 Nissan all-wheel drive Rogue SV models equipped with heated power seat, 17-inch alloys, remote start, and motion-activated liftgate for only $23,999. Shop Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads or Hornell. Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Okay, and here we are. This being Friday, that's right, Rob Carolyn calls in. I forgot. I totally forgot. I was in the middle of the story. Okay, fine. We were talking about an adjunct English professor at a college in Iowa, Jeff Klinsman. And apparently he's an Antifa guy there. And he's posted something in a number of places about how he'd like to hit President Trump with a baseball bat. Probably not the wisest thing to say, and probably a stupid thing to do anyway. So in one post on his Facebook page, Klinsman shared a poem containing the words, "Kill them all and bury them deep in the ground." To which he added the comment, "It's not pretty and I'm not proud, but seeing what evangelical Christians are doing to this country and its people fills me with rage and a desire to exact revenge." This guy is teaching in a school, is he really? So he's also an active participant in the local Antifa group on Facebook, according to a local radio station, or a TV station, where he made the apparent comment about attacking Trump. "Yeah, I know who I'd like to clock with a bat," he said in response to a tweet by Trump, where the president slammed Antifa, tweeting, "Radical left whack jobs go around hitting people over the heads with baseball bats." And Klinsman said, "Yeah, I know who I'd like to hit with the bat." Well, so the Secret Service is certainly keeping its eye on this whack job. Very strange. Yep. Okay, fine. That takes care of him. And now we go to, are you bothered by starlings? We are. We got gazillions of starlings right around our home. And they're in the trees, they get in the gutter, and they get under the eaves and all that stuff. Man, they're a pain. And crows, boy, can they raise a racket early in the morning. So we have starlings, we have crows. But it could get a little worse. Here's this family who were living in a gated community in West Palm Beach, Florida. And they are bothered by vultures. The homeowner, Casimano, his last name is Casimano, his first name is Tony Casimano. He says it's a disaster. It's a laughable disaster. You can't make this stuff up. That's why it's laughable. His backyard and pool area have been overrun by vultures. He says they ripped all the screens out, they throw up, they pooped all over the place, they ripped out a fence around their pool. Casimano says that was the first time. And he spent $3,000 repairing everything and then got an alert on his phone from his security system. There's motion in the yard. So I checked it out and there must have been 100 of them there, he said. 100 vultures in your yard. One would be too many. 100 is way too many. Casimano lives in a gated community in West Palm Beach. I just told you that. He said the vultures have forced him and his family to leave their home and go to New York. He says, "I have a 2-year-old daughter that I can't bring down there while the situation's happening. They'll probably attack her." I didn't know that vultures attack people. Who knows? Maybe he does. And it's not just him, but their neighbors are having the same problem. The president of the Property Owners Association, Gordon Holness, said they're doing everything they can to keep the vultures away. He said the problem is one homeowner keeps feeding the vultures. So one homeowner is feeding, there's always one in every crowd, right? Somebody's got to feed the vultures. Anyway, so Holness said they've given her a citation and a fine, even delivered a legal cease and desist order, but nothing has worked yet. So this lady keeps feeding these vultures and they're hanging around. What a neighbor. Casimano has tried to do things himself. He placed the balloons around the area and played music all day long. What would he play? Hard rock? Acid rock? I don't know. Anything to keep the vultures away. Some days it works and some days it doesn't. So they're packing up and they're moving back to New York until something happens with these vultures. Wow, as I said, starlings are bad, crows are bad, but vultures, it could be worse. It could always be worse. Okay, that's it. I guess that's it for today, and I will see you Monday morning at 8:05. Bye.